Welcome, Kleschka Crew, to Kleschka Picks Playoff Edition.
Let's go, let's go!
Sadly, my Seahawks did not make the playoffs this year, but I will be predicting the entire NFL playoffs, the Super Bowl, and some of the awards: MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive and Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Comeback Player of the Year. Let's get started in the AFC with the Chiefs and the Steelers. The Steelers, I don't think belong here, and I'm sure many other people feel the exact same way. Ben Roethlisberger said himself that they don't think they belong there. He does not have a ton of confidence in himself and this team right now.
No, we probably aren't supposed to be here. We're probably not a very good football team. We're out of 14 teams I think are in, we're probably number 14.
And the Chiefs, they had to rethink about how they play football this season. They had to approach it differently. But I don't think all that change for the Chiefs is really going to matter when they're going to play the Steelers, because the Steelers barely got in. The Chiefs have been here before. They are one of the most dominant teams right now. Not to say that Ben Roethlisberger doesn't have the playoff experience, but he is old now. It's time for him to retire. Patrick Mahomes has so much talent and has the talent around him. So give me the Chiefs to move on. Next, we have the Bills and the Patriots. The Patriots were definitely one of the best defenses in football this year, and they have a great head coach with Bill Belichick. Both of these teams do, really. And the Bills, they have Josh Allen, definitely a better quarterback than Mac Jones, and he's got the playoff experience. This is Mac Jones' first time in the playoffs, and I think he is going to struggle. He's going to face a lot of tough competition if they move on, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think the Bills are a better offense, and I do not think they're a better defense, but I do think that the offense of the Bills is going to succeed more than the Patriots. I really just feel like Mac Jones is going to have a struggle during playoffs, and I don't think the defense will save the Patriots in this one. I think Josh Allen, with the combination of how good he is running the ball and throwing the ball, that is going to be why the Bills win. Bengals and Raiders. The Raiders barely made it in, and they could have been here along with the Chargers, but for some reason, Los Angeles called a timeout when it looked like the Raiders were going to need the ball, and they were both going to go into playoffs. Probably one of the dumbest calls I have ever seen. But both of these teams, their defenses are not top tier. But the Bengals, oh my God, they ended the last couple games scorching hot. The Raiders, they did, what they needed to do. They didn't light the world on fire, but they got the job done. They have struggled with so much this season. And I think both of these defenses are going to give up a ton of points. So it really comes down to which offense is going to be better. And that is the Bengals for me. They have so many weapons. You can go to Joe Mixon on the ground if you want. Joe Burrow has all those guys to throw to with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and even more. So I just think the offensive explosion of the Bengals is too much for the Raiders to stop. Now over to the NFC, we have the Buccaneers and the Eagles. Tom Brady is still one of the best quarterbacks in football at his age. That is mind-blowing. The Eagles being here, that shocks me because they have all these guys and none of them live up to their potential. It is going to be a struggle for Philadelphia because Tampa Bay, I believe, has a good defense, and they're led by one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Even though they've had a few problems off the field recently and some injuries in Tampa, I still think Tom Brady will have a very easy time beating the Eagles. Cowboys and 49ers. The 49ers are way better when they have Deebo Samuel on the field. He just makes everybody else on that team look better, including Jimmy Garoppolo. But Jimmy Garoppolo really is not one of the best quarterbacks in football. He's average, if you ask me. He's not terrible. He's not amazing. He's just right there in the middle of the pack. And when he's got to go up against one of the best defenses this season in the Cowboys, that's going to be tough. And Dak Prescott ended the season very hot, one of his best performances. So with that combination, Dak being on his level right now and having a great defense along with him, I think that is going to make the 49ers struggle, because you take away Deebo, if he's not involved in the game, who else? Like George Kittle has games where he just disappears, and then he's got games where he looks like the best tight end in the league. It's really just lean on Deebo, see how far Deebo can take you, but the Cowboys can rely heavily on their defense and Dak Prescott, so give me the Cowboys winning. Rams and Cardinals, both of these teams started off very hot at the beginning of the season, and then they kind of fell the last couple weeks. They just ran into so many problems. Kyler Murray was injured, so was DeAndre Hopkins, but they both came back, but I feel like those injuries did affect how they play. So with these teams having a same path towards the end of the season, and they're both great offensively. They got amazing receivers. I think it comes down to who's the better defense, and for me, I think that is the Rams. When you got weapons on your line like Aaron Donald and Von Miller, that is scary. And that is going to be hard to deal with. So I think with the combination of a good offense and the better defense for the Rams, I think that they move on. Now back to the AFC, we have the Bengals and the Bills. The Bengals are so scary offensively. And the Bills can be that same problem, but Josh Allen runs into struggles, I feel like, a lot more recently than Joe Burrow did. And once you get into playoffs, it matters if you were hot at the end of the season, if you were cold. You want to ride that momentum, you know? I think in this case, even though I feel like the Bills have a better defense, I think the Bengals have so many more weapons, and the lack of a run game for Buffalo is gonna cost them because the Bengals can rely on that. Go to Joe Mixon. They can throw the ball deep downfield to great, talented receivers, and I think that's why the Bengals will move on. The offensive explosiveness and the fact that they have weapons in every part of the offense, I think they will score high, and thanks to the lack of a run game, the Bills will have to rely on Josh Allen a lot, and I don't think they can rely on him the whole game. Titans and Chiefs. Now, it is rumored that the Titans will get Derrick Henry back for playoffs, and they do get that extra week because of the bye week, but the Chiefs, they have had to rethink how they work this offense this year. They did not really have those 50-yard bombs downfield to Tyreek Hill this year. They went more for the check down, the flat throws, changed their entire offensive scheme, and it took a while for Patrick Mahomes to adjust, and I still think he is, but he is a great quarterback, and Ryan Tannehill becomes even better when he gets Derrick Henry back. I'm just going to assume that he will be back for this entire playoff prediction video, but I do think Ryan Tannehill chokes in playoffs constantly, even if he gets King Henry back and they use him more. I feel like the Chiefs, when they're in playoffs, they succeed. Patrick Mahomes definitely figured out this new offense they've been working with towards the end of the season, and I think that Ryan Tannehill is going to screw it up for the Titans, so give me the Chiefs moving on. Why did they not move on? Move on. There we go. Now we got the Cowboys and the Rams. Dak Prescott, like I said, he ended the season on a good note. Matthew Stafford could have done the same thing, but they had a defeating loss to the 49ers in the final week, which looked like they had early on, but they blew it. And the Cowboys defense, like I said, it is up there as one of the best defenses in the league. For me, that's Dallas and New England. So that's going to be a tough one for Matthew Stafford to go up against. And he was struggling at the end of the year against teams whose defense is nowhere near as good as the Cowboys. And they hired Dan Quinn this year. Dan Quinn, great defensive mind. He has made stars out of Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, and they've got other guys on that team that makes them a great overall defense. And while the Rams have very, very talented players on their defense, I think it comes down to the offenses this time. And I think Dak, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, and all those great receivers are going to do better than the team they have in Los Angeles. So give me the Cowboys moving on. Next, we have Packers and Buccaneers. The Packers, they have looked like one of the best teams this year. Aaron Rodgers has looked unstoppable with that combination of him and Devontae Adams. And then they can lean into that run game too with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Tom Brady has seen his team suffer some injuries towards the end of the year, but he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. Everyone knows it. Has gone up against many challenges, and this one is definitely going to be a big challenge, but Aaron Rodgers has just looked unstoppable for me. So I'm going to pick the Packers to move on. Their defense has also looked great this year, better than the past season. Chiefs and Bengals, this is a rematch. We saw these two have a very high-scoring game, and the Bengals pulled off the victory, so they got tape to watch on each other, and I think that Patrick Mahomes and his playoff experience is going to play huge because this is Joe Burrow's first time if he gets to this point, and while he does have so much talent around him, all that talent is also very young. And Patrick Mahomes, even though his talent around him is also young, they've done this before. They've been here. Andy Reid, great head coach, and the Chiefs defense has been way better than it was in past years, and they went to the Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl. The lack of playoff experience is going to show in this matchup, and I think the Chiefs will go to the Super Bowl and the Bengals will lose this one. Then we have Cowboys and Packers. I keep saying the Cowboys are one of the best defenses this year, but here's the thing about Aaron Rodgers. He can make any defense look like a bad defense. He just has that talent. He is that good. Aaron Rodgers surrounded by many great offensive weapons. Their defense has taken a step up this year, and I think the fact that the offense of the Packers is so explosive is going to be the reason why the Cowboys are not going to be able to keep up. Aaron Rodgers is just too good, and I think the Packers beat the Cowboys. That means my Super Bowl would be Chiefs and Packers. I'm pretty sure this is what I guessed last year too. The Chiefs were in it last year, and they struggled mightily against the Buccaneers. The Packers always seem to come up just short of making the Super Bowl recently, but I don't think that'll be the case this year. These are two offenses who can go absolutely nuts, but like I said, the Chiefs, they changed their way of play this year, and I don't know if that was for the better. We did not see those long throws from Patrick Mahomes. They definitely relied more on their running backs, I would say, and both of these teams' defenses took a step up. They performed better than they have in the previous years. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, definitely the best QB wide receiver combo in the NFL, if you ask me. And they got other guys that Aaron Rodgers makes look great in that receiving core. And then you can rely heavy on those running backs. And I think the running backs are definitely a bigger upgrade than the ones the Chiefs have. And this should be a shootout. It should be fun. When it comes down to it, I think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers has just looked so good this season. For MVP, as much as I want it to be Cooper Kupp or Jonathan Taylor, that's probably not going to happen because the MVP just favors quarterbacks. And this year, I think it'll be Tom Brady. I hate to say it, but Tom Brady, at his age, threw over 5,000 passing yards. He had 43 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And the only other guy I would say comes close is Aaron Rodgers. And their QBR is also very close. But Tom Brady, this dude, I just don't believe he doesn't age. Defensive Player of the Year. For the entire season, I thought it was going to be Trayvon Diggs. But as the last couple of weeks came around, I saw how close TJ Watt was to breaking the sack record. And he didn't break it, but he tied it. And if you were tying the all-time sack record, then that's Defensive Player of the Year for me. Offensive Rookie of the Year, it was pretty close in the last couple weeks, but then one man stepped up and went absolutely nuts, and I think secured himself this award, and that is Jamar Chase. He ended the season very hot, and I think that gave him that final push that'll get him all over all the other candidates. Defensive Player of the Year, there's only one person that should be considered, and that is Micah Parsons. If it's anybody else, the NFL is crazy. Comeback Player of the Year, and it is only between two people for me. That is Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott. Both of them had gruesome injuries last year, came back dominant this year. They were very close in passing yards. Their touchdowns to interceptions were also close. Same with their QBR. So it's going to be a tight race, but at the end of the day, I think I'm going to give it to Dak Prescott. I think he just has a little bit of an edge over Joe Burrow for this award, and that's why I think he'll win Comeback Player of the Year. If you made it to the end of this video, comment down below who you think will be in the Super Bowl. Like the video, subscribe, tell your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your pets, your friends, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, everybody you know to subscribe to have already. I got this, you got this, we all got this, and I will see you next time.